G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome to the level 30 recap for my Pure Evasion Onslaught Ranger. For those of you guys who have been watching the series ZiggyD and Duke do Onslaught, you probably, already have a fairly good idea of how I progressed this Ranger and how things are going and how that all went. But I understand that not everyone wants to watch quite a long series like that, so for you guys, I have this level 30 recap, which is going to go over passive progression, general skill usage, and how I actually cleared content, and also gearing as well. So let's jump straight into it. First up, we'll talk about skills. Now, for most of the leveling process from 0 to about 25, if I remember correctly, I pretty much exclusively use Poison Arrow, Fire Trap. Now, obviously, Duke did drop me a Silverbranch, cheating, but pretty much any rare bow or any normal bow, you can even do it with a white bow essentially, will work just fine for Poison Arrow. Silverbranch just gives you a little bit faster clear speed because you've got a little bit of extra mana, and it gives you that +1 to Poison Arrow, as you can see there. However, if you do happen to get a rare or magic bow with +1 or +2 to level of bow gems in that item and put a Poison Arrow in it, your leveling speed will be very fast, probably even faster than a Silverbranch if you get a +2 to skill gems in that. So that's a great way to do it. So Poison Arrow and Fire Trap, and the way that you go about using this, if you guys haven't seen that leveling method before, is basically you just keep running and let stuff die behind you. So make sure stuff's always in this poison cloud. You throw down your Fire Traps if there's like a larger pack. Stack it up with Poison Arrow. The dot effects essentially take everything down. Fire Trap's great for bursting down rares and stuff like that. And Poison Arrow can do a little bit of damage as well on the actual direct hit to help you burst down rares like that. But pretty much you just want to shoot and scoot and throw your traps and scoot and shoot and scoot. Pretty much that's what you'll be doing, and you'll get a good rhythm up from it eventually as well. Everything will follow you along. You get to quickly move through zones and kill stuff as you're running as well, without ever really stopping to kill stuff like you do with other skills. So, a very fast leveling method, pretty classic. It's been around since the dawn of Path of Exile time. However, if you aren't very confident with the whole running forwards through packs that can potentially kill you, then it might be a good idea then to actually use this same method, but instead of running forwards through them, just apply the dots to them and then take a few steps back. So, shoot them, take a few steps back, wait until they start to die off, and then progress through them. So, you can do the same method, just in reverse, take it a little bit more slowly, and it'll still work pretty well. So, around level 25, which I believe in the zone Battlefront around, I found that just the Poison Arrow and Fire Trap damage wasn't quite enough to keep going. So I thought, since I've also found this bow here, which has increased physical damage, fire damage, and cold damage, and attack speed on it, pretty sick drop. I've had very good RNG on this run. I set up this with 2 links there, and I put Split Arrow in it. So basically I've got Split Arrow linked to Fork, and this is a fantastic AoE skill. So I'm going to actually have to refresh this zone so I can show this off to you guys how this works. But it's pretty basic stuff. Pretty much by the point you find a good bow with some good elemental damage on it especially, so mainly those elemental damage are the ones you're looking for, then you can probably afford to switch over to Split Arrow or another skill if you get like Lightning Arrow LMP if you're going that route, or Ice Shot I don't think you can even use Ice Shot at this level, but anyway, you can start using these bow skills. As you see, this is very effective, very fast kill speed, and a bit more viable for using in a group when I'm actually playing with Duke like that. Now, as you can see, I'm using the Projectile Weakness Curse in combination with this. Projectile Weakness, increases the damage I take, gives you Pierce, which is actually really good with Split Arrow. I'll probably favour the Pierce gem eventually if I do end up going Split Arrow exclusively. I'm still going to test out Ice Shot and see whether I like it first. And the knockback is okay CC as well, just to keep things off you. So it's pretty solid, and the damage is really good, and it allows you to actually start taking advantage of the crit nodes and things like that you'll be getting. And man, I love when stuff shatters like that. That's awesome. So also the Hatred Aura, you'll start running only once you start switching over to an actual attack skill. No use running up when you're Fire Trap Poison Arrowing, as it just takes up a lot of mana and only adds damage to the actual on hit of Poison Arrow, not the actual cloud or anything like that. So as you can see, with Hatred running, DPS is even higher, stuff dies even more quickly, so pretty good stuff. It converts that physical to cold, so if you do have a decent physical bow, like this one is pretty decent, then it'll be a fantastic one to run. Otherwise, you can run Wrath or Hatred as well if you want to get a bit of extra damage from those. So they're pretty cool. Single target, I've just been using Burning Arrow. I'm pretty much going to be switching over to Frenzy as soon as I get it. So that's pretty much it for single target. You can also continue to use Fire Traps once you switch over to a normal attack, just to help with that additional damage. It's really nice AoE damage, and it'll help you burst down those rear. You can throw down all your fire traps, and then just use your normal attacks on top of that to burst things down. Pretty quick stuff. So, next up, I'll just go over the gearing very briefly. Now, as I said, I've had very good RNG. I managed to find some decent move speed boots with resists. Pretty much you just want to go life and resists for most of your leveling. Move speed is also very handy for good clear speed, and it's always good for rangers to have a bit of move speed. Now, I did also get the Sedima's Touch Wool Gloves to drop. These have 4 to 8 fire and 1 to 13 lightning damage, which is fantastic to level with. Such a good leveling item to drop. I'm pretty happy that drops. But if you find any gloves that have attack speed or damage mods on them, that will help you through clearing normal very quickly. Normal overall, you don't need that much defensive stats. I hesitate to say that because I think you should always be trying to get as much life on your gear as possible. But that said, you can pretty much go through most of normal with only a few life things, like with only a few items with a bit of life on them. So the extra damage will just help you clear normal that much faster. It's pretty good stuff. In terms of your chest, you want to eventually switch over to evasion, but you can roll the first like 15 levels or so with armor-based gear just fine. You know, we don't have the acrobatics node or anything like that yet, so we're not losing out on any armor, and it's still good mitigation, and you can get evasion from other pieces and things like that. So I had a decent, I found a decent armor chest that had some good mods on it, some really good resist and really good life, so I used that for quite a while. But I eventually switched over to this guy because it's got 216 evasion compared to like a 50 or something armor the other one had. So very nice boost there. And with all of our evasion nodes we have by this point, here and here, you know, we've got pretty good defense at this point. 53% chance to evade at level 30. Pretty solid. If you can keep 50% your entire progress through leveling, then you know your gear's going alright. So that's pretty good, and that's without really trying. Like, I haven't qualityed this. It doesn't really have that much increased evasion, and you know, I've got a pretty low evasion helmet and no evasion on my gloves or boots, so doing okay despite that. So pretty good stuff. Other things, I've got a belt here with increased elemental damage and weapons. That's fantastic for when you switch over to Split Arrow or another attack-based skill, and when you have all these elemental mods. I'm curious to see how much DPS it actually adds. So I've got 166. Take that off and it drops down to 155, so a little bit extra from that 18%. That'll scale even better as we get more elemental damage on it in our build. Also, life recovery rate is fantastic for leveling. Also, increased charge recovery is also a great one to get on belts. They're two belt-specific mods that are really, really good. So try and get those if you can. Otherwise, just try and keep your resists as high as possible. You know, get the right resists for each zone. You can do that by switching out rings, as you can see. Switch between cold and lightning rings as we go. That's just like a general tip. Other than that, I think that pretty much covers gear. Your quiver doesn't matter too much, just try and get one with a bit of extra damage on it, or you know, whatever else. Life and damage is nice to get on there, or just life. You can get a life and a resist on your quiver, and that's also a pretty good way to go as well. So we'll make sure I'm not going to die. We'll actually go back to town, since this is still in hardcore, and you know, I don't want to lose my character while making a video, and we'll jump into the passive skill tree, and I'll just show the order we took things in. We pretty much grabbed attack speed and evasion and life straight away. 12 plus maximum life, nice boost at the start, quite a bit of evasion. Doesn't really give you too much benefit until you actually start wearing that evasion gear, but still fantastic nodes. The fact that there's life and evasion on all of these nodes here now means you have really good survivability as a ranger now in the early game. Pretty good stuff. Next up, we go through finesse, gives us attack speed, good stuff. We come up through mana. This eases some of your mana issues a bit. However, you're going to have to get used to being out of mana occasionally while leveling, especially with Poison Arrow File Trap. You'll chew through your mana pretty quickly because you'll be moving so quickly and just killing stuff so quickly. So you're going to have to get used to using your mana flasks as you go. So try and keep your mana flasks up to date. Try and make sure you have a good mana flask as you go, and that'll keep you out of mana troubles pretty nicely there. Come up through attack speed and ballistic mastery. Now, although Heart of Oak is quite a good node, and I'm a fan of it, I don't really think it adds too much to this build just yet. I don't think it's worth the points yet. I don't know if I'll ever end up using it in this build, which is sad because I think it's a nice node, but it's not amazing. It's not amazing. So then we go through attack speed and we come down through Aspect of the Eagle, another really great node, also got move speed on it, pretty good stuff. Now we come down through crit. This is eventually going to be a crit chance based build, so coming through that crit now is just fine. It's a great way to path as well. And then we come up and grab this life straight away. Now, in the final build, we'll path down through these frenzy nodes to get to this highway on the right here. However, as you can see, I've done these dexterity nodes for now. That's because I wanted to get these as soon as possible. These extra life node here, 10% extra life, bit of extra damage, and quite a lot of extra evasion rating as well. A really great cluster of nodes to get, so I wanted to rush there while I was leveling, just for that extra survivability, so I don't have any awkward normal difficulty deaths. However, later on I'll just use some of my free refunds to respec these out once I actually connect these up, so I can free up those 2 points later to spend on other things. Immediate goal from now is pretty much to head straight to acrobatics. We don't actually lose much by getting acrobatics. I do have quite a bit of energy shield at the moment, but eventually I'll have none and I'll have a very small amount of armor, so acrobatics, there's really no downside to getting it in this sort of build. So get it sooner the better, gives us 20% extra dodge, good stuff. Very nice survivability boost. So we're rushing towards that, and that's the immediate goal from here on out. But I'll cover what we do in the next build recap. So I think that pretty much covers everything. If you guys haven't checked out the series and are interested to see this build actually progress, and maybe just want to have something playing in the background or on your second monitor if you have one while you're playing Path of Exile yourself, then make sure to check out the ZiggyD and Duke do Onslaught series. I'll put a link in the description below, as well as a link to the passive skill tree and a few of the modifications I've made based on your feedback and based on things that I've figured out as I've been going. So, I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.